Fancy Nancy and the Boys from Paris by Jane O'Connor. I almost always get to school early, but on Mondays, I am tardy. That's a fancy word for late. I come in and see a new kid. He is standing next to Miss Glass. Robert comes from Paris. Miss Glass is telling everyone. He just moved here. Paris? Paris is a city in France. It is gorgeous. That is a fancy word for beautiful. Bonjour, I say in the book nook. In French, that means hello. I am Nancy. I never met anybody from Paris before. I speak slowly so he will understand. It is really nice there, Robert says. I miss it. He has a book on cowboys. He probably wants to learn all about this country. Go there someday. I show him my book. It is about a dog in Paris. Do you like the United States? Yes, says Robert. Don't you? Yes, I do, I say. I've lived here all my life. Then Miss Glass puts a finger to her mouth. This is not talking time, she says. This is reading time. On Tuesday, I sit next to Robert at lunch. Have you ever been to the Eiffel Tower? I ask him. Robert nods and swallows. Lots of times. Our house was near it. I tell Robert, I know about the Eiffel Tower. There's a poster of it in my room. I know lots about Paris. I share some of my lunch. These are donut holes, I say. Robert gives me a funny look. I know that. I have eaten donut holes before. That night, I tell my mom and dad about Robert. He is very nice. He already speaks English. I want to be his friend. How do you say friend in French? The word is ami, my mom say. You say it like this, I, me. I love French. Everything sounds so fancy. Why don't you ask him over to play? My dad says. So the next day I do. We can play soccer. Did you play soccer in Paris? Sure. All the time, Robert says. I am a good kicker. I can come on Friday. On Thursday, it is show and share. Robert brings in a toy horse. It is brown and white. My grandpa has a horse like this. Then Robert passes around a photo. I miss her a lot. Her name is Belle. In French, that means beautiful. Belle, I say to myself. Now I know another French word. On Friday, Mom is at work. Miss Divine picks us up from school. Miss Divine lives next door. I tell Robert. Robert is from Paris, I tell Miss Divine. At home, we make a tent in the yard. We pretend bears are outside. We pretend to be terrified. That's a fancy word for scared. Then we play soccer. We let my little sister play too. Robert is a great kicker. My dog runs around the yard. That's Frenchie, I tell Robert. She is not really French, but you will like her anyway. We go inside and I show Robert my room. See, There's the Eiffel Tower, I say. Yes, says Robert, but that one does not have a cowboy hat on it. That Eiffel Tower is in Paris, France. It is taller and it is more famous. But we have an Eiffel Tower too. Our Eiffel Tower has a cowboy hat on the top. Wait a minute. I am very perplexed. That's a fancy word for mixed up. But you're from Paris, France, I say, aren't you? No, I'm from Texas. Paris, Texas, Robert says. Miss Glass told everybody that the first day. Robert shows me Paris, Texas on my globe. Oh, I guess I missed that part. And I feel a little silly, but not for long. After all, I have a new army, even if he isn't French. The end. Hope you enjoyed Fancy Nancy and the Boy from Paris. Good night, Lowndes County.